Howdy, folks. Welcome to tonight's episode of Tabletop Terrain Talks, where we talk about tabletop gaming, terrain, and other nerdy things. We have with us on, for the very first time, to our little fan girl and boy heart's pleasure, we have NoNat1 on our show, but we're not going to actually let him talk yet. Shh.
Oh, I already messed it up.
But we do have NoNat on. I just wanted to address the fact that you're on the screen and not have it be awkward. There's this person that you haven't addressed.
I'm just here.
You're just here hanging out. But we are excited to be back with the whole change of schedule and then us being at FanX and then life. We haven't been able to do Tabletop Terrain Talks in what feels like a month.
It has been because we had 2 episodes of the Family Gaming Experience. Which is our other Wednesday show where we focus on kid gaming.
And thank you so much for the follow.
Oh, thank you. And so it's been weeks.
It's been a hot minute. So we are very happy to be back in the saddle of Tabletop Terrain Talks. And we are so happy to have all of these new followers hanging out. That is cool. I don't know. I'll be totally honest. NoNat, we brought you on because we wanted to talk to you.
But they can be here too if they want to.
They can.
All right. They can stay.
You guys can be voyeurs. Follow the channel. Maybe come hang out with us on another day if you really feel like it.
So I'm upset because I'm trying really hard to follow and get my own little dragon, but it's not letting me.
It won't. Why? It won't let you follow?
I click follow and it shrinks and then regrows and it just says follow again. And I tried refreshing and I just want to drag.
Are you trying from your computer?
Yeah.
Try from your phone.
I can try. My phone's at 3% battery. Let's go.
You're
Because if you follow, you get the dragon. And then there are, I think we still have all the emojis are still under all followers instead of subscribers. But hey,
it's fine.
Enjoy it.
Jerome, could you drop some of those emotes down in the chat? We have special emotes just for followers that I actually drew. They're little chibis of a ranger, a monk, a wizard, and Druid. There we go. I couldn't think of the last one. Anyway, so we are going to have a really short, truncated version of TTRPG news tonight because there was so much news. There were so many things. We would have to do a special session just for TTRPG news. So we decided not to.
But I have a couple that I wanted to make sure we bring up.
But Weston wanted to. And just so you know, not that I'm buttering you up, Nona, we did cover Sinclair's library when it was released.
Oh, well, there's going to be more to come soon.
Always more.
Oh, I'm excited. We are approaching playtest velocity. So.
Oh, that's exciting. Okay, so first let's get some TTRPG news rolling. Westy Ton.
Here we go.
Thank you.
And we'll lose NoNat for just a minute while I do TTRPG news.
Just a minute.
But a couple of important stories.
The first being that I made that.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
A new game, a game developer called One More Multiverse has decided to create a new VTT, which, all of us know is virtual tabletop. But the cool thing is the first game that they're doing it with is Blades in the Dark. Blades in the Dark, as far as I know, is not currently on other VTTs, generally not supported. And so they are going to be supporting Blades in the Dark, which is a very popular TTRPG that is focused on you are a band of crooks. It's like Ocean's 11 Victorian era.
Ooh, I like
very
that.
Thematic, very story-driven TTRPG. Mm-hmm. So they are going to be coming out with that, so you'll have a new set of tools to be able to use. And so it says, it's Blades in the Dark, a wickedly fun TTRPG that takes place in a haunted version of a gritty Industrial Revolution era European city.
Oh, that sounds like a really fun. Why have I never heard of that before?
You haven't heard of it? Oh, Blades in the Dark. You might like Blades in the Dark. I'm just not really one for the heist styles. Next, in other news, Brandon Sanderson's Stormlight Archive is getting a tabletop RPG in 2024.
They finally have a release date?
They at least have that it will be in 2024. It has been announced. I'm guessing he will release it in conjunction with
the next book, which is supposed to be 2024.
And when's his con? Is that in 23 or 20?
23, because they're working with the Salt Palace right now to pin down dates.
Because, yeah, he's going to be doing Dragon Con here in Salt Lake, probably at the same place the Fan X was held recently. So they are looking at having that launched as a TTRPG. Brotherwise Games previously worked on the Stormlight Archives universe and a couple of different projects, including the card game. The company has multiple successful crowdfunding, blah, blah, blah. So they just launched the miniatures. They did launch the miniatures, and that's all going to lead up to, in 2024, having the Stormlight Archive TTRPG.
That's awesome.
And there's another TTRPG that has been announced, and I was like, we need to announce this. If you are a Monty Python fan,
you guys, this is all new.
Happiness might just fill your heart with joy and gladness, because there's going to be a Monty Python TTRPG. Publisher Exalted Funeral is what it's called.
Are you serious?
And developer Crowbar Creative have announced a new tabletop RPG called Monty Python's. Let me read this. Monty Python's Concurricular Medieval Reenactment Program. A tome that cheekily calls itself not a role-playing game, but rather a very rigorous course of study intended only for serious students of English history. Is by no means a complete and comprehensive manual for running imaginative, highly unpredictable medieval themed role-playing games based upon the complete comedic output of it's medieval.
That is
complete
amazing.
Comedic output of Monty Python with one's friends.
That's amazing. Okay.
So yeah.
If any of you grew up on that show, Monty Python and the Search for the Holy Grail, it was the only show of that troupe of comedians that I was allowed to watch, because everything else was very rated R.
Life of Brian you couldn't watch, Meaning of Life.
The Meaning of Life. As an adult, I've watched many of them since then, and they are unbelievably funny, and my parents were right to not let me watch it when I was a kid.
So these are the announcements we have for today. Again, there's lots that has happened. These are the yay!
Thank you so much for the follow, Pucenius.
Yeah, I can't say it.
That was as close as I think I'm gonna get.
But those are the three I wanted to cover. So we do get, if you're a Blades of the Dark fan, check that out for that new VTT, which will work with that from One More Multiverse. They're going to be doing a bunch of different games, probably a lot of these smaller ones. And Blades of the Dark is the first one they're doing. Then you're going to get the Brandon Sanderson Stormlight Archive TTRPG in 2024, which I know Hayley's going to want to be a Radiant.
I want to be a shard bearer so bad.
And then we have announced, they don't have a date right now for it, for the Monty Python.
It's just in production.
Yeah, it's in production. I don't see a date right now. Oh, wait. Will be available on Kickstarter on October 22nd.
Oh, so soon. So like in the next month.
Yep. Cool. Next month, you will be able to back the Monty Python TTRPG. I don't know how that's going to be. That's just shenanigans.
Uh-huh.
That's just craziness. It is a complete chaotic party.
Uh-huh.
Which anyone who's that's GM'd a chaotic party knows it's crazy. This is just going to be that all over the place.
It'll be awesome. It'll be super fun.
You're not getting through any story.
No.
You're just having random things happen and laughing.
Like the Killer Bunny.
Exactly. It's got big pointy teeth.
On second thought, let's not go to Camelot. It is a silly place.
All right, and that is all. That is all I've got tonight for TTRPG news. We will be more prepared in 2 weeks when we have Tabletop Terrain Talks again to give you a more in-depth. But these are the ones I could grab today, and there's been a lot that has happened.
It's true. And if you have anything that is news or noteworthy, please shoot us a message either here on Twitch as a whisper, or you can find us on Twitter at Party of 2, the number. RPG Live, and we will include it in the show.
Yep. And if you are a content creator or a game maker or something like that, and you'd like us to feature you in our community announcements, we'll be more than happy to. We haven't had many of those come in recently, but we definitely want to feature other creators within this space. There's a lot of amazing smaller TTRPGs that are being made that they're like, we can't compete with Dungeons & Dragons. The only way to do that is for us to band together and to share all the content and all the new cool things that are being made. So let us know, and we'll be more than happy to feature it here in our show.
So I guess that's it for TTRPG news. September 28th.
We haven't done it since 8/22.
2022. You guys, nobody pointed that out. Jerome, you are failing at your job.
And it also means that's how long it's been.
Oh my gosh.
Go.
And we are back.
Well, am I allowed to breathe now?
Yes, you are.
Can breathe. Wait, did I say take a breath? Did I tell you to hold on? Oh dear, I hope not.
Oh, is that not part of the deal?
No, but
I thought
that's
I just-
amazing.
oh.
You held your breath for like the last 10 minutes. Fantastic.
No, you were supposed to be taking shots all during that time.
No. Oh dear.
Oh, no,
Every
no,
time
there's
we
no
said
alcohol in this.
TTRPG.
Yeah, every time we say TTRPG, there has to be a drink. Oh gosh, that would be quite the
Oh,
drinking game.
Lord.
Watch one of our streams, and every time we say TTRPG or Critical Role, take a drink.
I'm not as big of a critter as I was before. We maybe only mention it twice per show now.
Yeah, probably.
Sometimes more.
They're the thing that everyone knows. So, again, we are so excited to have on our guest tonight, NoNat1s.
I'm excited to be here.
NoNat, you, I guess I told you before the show, you were one of the first creators that I found when we got introduced to Pathfinder.
That's awesome.
We started playing Pathfinder during the pandemic. We are what I call pandemic players. We got tired of our children watching their TV shows while we were all stuck at home.
Okay.
And all of my boys have ADHD, just normal for boys in these days. And it gets worse when they watch lots of TV. So one day, we have a little dance.
Thank you for following Jake Fake Snack Snake Cake.
Jake Fake Snake Cake.
Fake Snake Cake. Oh my goodness. We already have questions.
Oh yeah, are you going to do the enhanced edition of the Wrath of the Righteous? Oh, they've got
an enhanced edition?
Apparently. I didn't even know about that either.
I've never heard of this.
I would have covered that in TTRPG news. Jeez. But
I'm gonna go look it up while you guys.
so I one day I didn't know about Pathfinder really yet. We grabbed the free login for D&D Beyond and the free little starter thing they got. I grabbed some D6s because that's all I had, and I told my boys, okay, here's some character sheets. Let's roll some dice. And then we had, when we're like, okay, we need to move beyond this, someone locally was selling their Pathfinder first edition books. And so we started playing Pathfinder.
I'm going to interrupt this stunning conversation. It is being released tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Pathfinder
It looks like
Wrath
it's coming
of
to
the-
consoles.
It's on PC.
So it's only on PC, it's not on console
It's
yet?
not on console yet, but it is an enhanced edition being released on console tomorrow.
I still haven't beat Kingmaker.
Yeah, just play to the last dungeon. It's not worth playing after that.
Anyway, so we found you, and Weston was very excited.
You and Q times were, because we had first edition, and then it's like, ooh, it's second edition. Let's try that. And I was like, how the heck do I play this? Because I had never even played D&D. I'd not played anything. I played D&D twice when I was in my early 20s.
You're still a baby.
Okay, so this wasn't your first TTRPG.
Well, I'd played 2 sessions of D&D back in 2004.
So
Okay.
basically, it was.
So basically, and someone else GM'd, and I was just like, okay, what do I do? Okay, whatever. So it was like, all right, so we jumped into D&D Pathfinder first edition. Then I don't know why we went and got second edition.
Because it had just come out, and that's what I asked for Christmas.
Oh.
Was second.
Yes, second edition.
See, some people are dice goblins. I'm a book goblin.
I'll take books over dice as well. I like them. I like them on the shelf.
I do too. The problem is the hardbacks are too expensive, so we have all the pocket editions of everything. I would like that Weston actually has them all over there. Look, I was doing TikToks. I needed all of them. That's not all of them, but I needed my books. Anyway, so that was why, because I wanted it for Christmas, and so I was gonna buy it for you, and then your mom just said, no, just hold off, and it's because she had bought it for me.
Nice.
I think it's because I told her to.
Probably.
So did you ever get around to playing first edition Pathfinder?
We did.
We did.
We played a little bit.
We started playing.
We had the starter set.
Yeah.
We had a first edition starter set that we played, and we actually, we gave that to our son afterwards. He's 10 now, he's 9. 8 then, I guess.
He was 8 then.
And he would continue to run us through the starter set.
Yep.
While we started bringing the 2nd edition.
He was cute.
But then I did 2nd edition, but I did a conversion of Rise of the Rune Lords.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's a popular conversion. Yeah, because everyone loves that adventure path.
And started playing that. Tried to play that with the family. Brought in the grandma and grandpa.
My parents.
Oh. Uh-oh.
But I didn't know how to play this. And as the GM, you do have to have, especially if you're doing all new players, you as the GM have to have a certain amount of knowledge.
If the GM
knows what they're doing.
So I would binge watch NoNat's videos, NoNat and Q Times. I would binge watch their videos to try and get at least a little bit of knowledge of how to play to help my players out.
And he would send me links and be like, just watch like from here to here in this video.
And she didn't watch.
And I did. I may not have been paying attention because I had other things I was doing. I didn't catch the bug until after we stopped playing Rise of the Rune Lords. Like, it wasn't until after and we started in our own game, like our homebrewed campaign within the world of Golarion, that I really caught the vision of what TTRPGs could be.
For a lot of people, it takes that one special game. You know, my first 2 or 3 times playing a TTRPG did not, like, blow me away. Like, I enjoyed it, I had fun, but it was not until college that it really gripped me. My high school games were... They existed, they happened.
They're high schoolers, and like I was a part of the theater crowd, which I know you were too.
Oh,
and like I feel like that was a natural progression, is to go from theater to doing TTRPGs. So my entire group of guy friends were all total fantasy nerds, way into TTRPGs, but I was the pretty one that was too cool.
So wait. So NoNat, you were theater person, right? All right. So, real quick, can you tell me what's happening in this picture?
That is me posing on the final note of Greased Lightning in Grease.
Oh my gosh, were you Danny?
I was not Danny. No, I was. His name is Roger. In the play, he's Roger. In the movie, he's Putsy. But yes, I'm Roger. I don't know if you've seen the musical or just the movie.
I've seen both, but it's been a very long time.
So the musical, Roger, again, as a character, doesn't really exist. He's called Putsy in the movie, but he has a song of his own. There's no pictures of this one. It's called Mooning. And it's his song that he sings.
Weston just brought up a picture. Okay, now I know who you're talking about.
It's called mooning. You know how he's mooning all over Jan, the girl he really has a crush on. And in the background of the entire love song, the other 3 greasers are mooning the audience.
Oh my gosh, because that's like what you do.
You know, mooning.
That's what you do.
yeah. No. Grease was an absolute blast.
What's that? Oh, I'm like, what's that, babe?
I'm trying to go to, and we've got. The very expressive face of NoNat.
So this was one that it was called. So it's called an unnecessary farce, and surprisingly, it's a farce. It takes place in a hotel. There's a mix of there's a hitman, there's a drug deal, there's an incompetent mayor. There's a whole bunch of just comedic stuff being slapped together. And I played a detective who was not quite great at his job. I could not tell you the character's name. It has been a solid 6 years since then. But yes, these were all natural faces they managed to get of me on stage during the show. And the show's namesake, Unnecessary Farce, is that the hitman in question is one of the main characters. And he speaks with an almost unintelligible Scottish accent the entire time. So if he was going to say, he's going to use unnecessary farce.
Oh.
So instead of unnecessary force, it's unnecessary farce.
Okay.
It was a
That's
wild show. It was all over the place, and it was so much fun.
That is super. That sounds actually. Those types of shows are so much fun. I did a show like that when I was 18. So in love with it.
And you've even been in other things more recently.
This is my most recent outing. Yeah, wow, you did your research. Yeah, December 2021. It was a sort of a skit show that they do every year called Suburban Holiday. And they're usually Christmas themed. This one happened to be Thanksgiving themed. And so I did this just last December, after a solid 4 years of no theater. And this one, it was a little 20-minute show. about a family coming together at Thanksgiving, and their father brings home his new partner, an inflatable
A
whale.
whale. Oh, so
And
it's it's like Lars and the Real Girl, but a comedy.
It's very much a comedy, but it's also like he very much loves this whale.
Oh my God.
Well, and
It was insane.
That would be fun.
you're into theater, but so is your girlfriend.
Yes,
More,
yes. No,
right?
she's been an actress longer than I have. We met in Greece. The show,
Okay.
not the country.
Oh, I was about to say, when did you go to Greece? Wow.
But yeah, no, we've done tons of shows together.
That's awesome.
Because I know she did another one of these same little small ones.
She did, yeah.
I don't have that picture because I only had so many time to grab images.
That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, we did.
And plus,
we
I
did
don't have
holiday
her
tour.
permission
To
to.
embarrass
I
her.
could knock on this wall and pull her.
You're like, hey, babe, we're talking about you. Come here.
But she plays too, so you guys play together.
She does.
So they
Yes, we.
they're like us. They play together.
Yeah.
Do you guys play duets? Like
No,
one-on-one games?
so not one-on-one. No, we are in a Friday game together. Until recently, we were in a Wednesday game together, and then we have separate Thursday games.
Okay, wow.
But both of us play a ton.
Yeah, I was about to say, so you guys are playing all the time, but you don't just play Pathfinder. You guys play D&D
No,
too,
no.
right?
Right now, Wednesday until I just stopped playing it was 5th edition. Thursday is 3.5 D&D, and Friday is Pathfinder 2e.
How do you keep all that straight?
Well, the Pathfinder's easy
Yeah.
because it's my job.
True.
The rest
true.
of them, the skill names and abilities always get mixed up in my head. You know, I'll call for a Fortitude save in D&D 5th edition. I'll call for, investigation in 5th edition. Or not,
Insight versus
Perception.
sense motive.
Oh, and
Perception.
sense motive, yep. Which neither of those exist in Pathfinder. It's just perception.
Well, no,
It's a
sense
lot.
motive. Sense motive is a thing in Pathfinder.
It is, but you just roll perception.
Yeah, you're just rolling perception.
Yeah,
check.
it's not its own skill anymore.
They just call it. At least they called it in the roll for combat. They would always refer to it as sense motive.
Yeah, he would make me say sense motive when we were playing.
And then I sneak in as many other systems as I can. Just a few weeks ago, we did a Call of Cthulhu one shot, which was an absolute blast.
Fun.
And
I
then-
just discovered a book series that's like a Sherlockian series that's called the Cthulhu Case Files, and it's like Sherlock Holmes but set in Lovecraft's world of Cthulhu, like literally
Interesting.
today.
Okay. Oh,
We were at the library.
We're at the library,
before
and
this.
I'm pulling out books off of the shelf because I'm trying to do another side gig where I review books on TikTok. Whatever, it's fine.
fun.
I just can't not do 55,000 things at the same time.
What?
But I saw that, and the case was like the book cover was like really, really interesting looking and like very old school, very throwback to like the 1920s style with like the fabric-y covers, and like I was really excited. Fingers touching, that word.
tactile.
Thank you.
Yeah, I got you.
It's very like, I really liked holding the book. So I'm like, now I really want to go read it.
That's something I miss about playing TTRPGs in person, which I still haven't really gotten a chance to go back to. Is just that tactile, like rolling dice, moving figurines, and all of that. Like on a computer, especially with I don't have diagnosed ADHD, but at the very least I do have difficulty focusing. I'll often be fidgeting with something just to keep my mind occupied. Sometimes it gets so bad that I'm like playing a second video game, like a simple video game on the side while the game's going on, because it's just so hard to not have everything in front of me.
Yeah.
Just having the other players, the map, everything on the screen is just not enough.
Well, it's either not enough or it's overwhelming enough that you have to have somewhere to pull your focus so that you don't get fully overwhelmed by it. That's what I've noticed when I play online.
Interesting.
And I was diagnosed as an adult, like not even a year ago. And I've found a lot of really interesting coping mechanisms, but that was one where he says what you think is actually like you're not being able to focus on something, it's actually an oversensory thing. Like you're you're overly I can't talk
Overstimulated.
tonight.
Stimulated.
Thank you.
You're good. You're good. I'll be your
Jeez.
thesaurus. It's fine.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm back
I definitely do get overstimulated from time to time. I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe I just don't realize it. But most commonly, overstimulation leads to an anxiety attack for me. Like if I'm in at a loud bar, especially if there's like live music playing and a loud table one over, like everything just kind of tunnel visions and just becomes noise. And it's a lot. I cannot handle
Yeah,
that.
it's hard. When we were at FanX, I was done after like what?
Lost Tribes Gaming.
What did he
Hayley,
say?
I was diagnosed as an adult. Me? Really? A doctor told you? Yes, you are an adult.
I was diagnosed with adultism
Jerome?
at the age of 21.
I'm still waiting for a doctor to diagnose me with that.
Adultism?
Yeah.
Someday,
Someday
Weston.
I'll be an
I
adult.
saw this TikTok recently that said it was this guy and he's looking at down at like a piece of paper or something. He's like, I don't know what to do. I need an adult. And then he looks up at the camera. He's like, wait, I am an adult. I need a more adulty adult.
True that. Well, it's like Dooms wrote up here that he's got wireless headset, and it's helped because he can then pace, he can walk around, he can do things like that, and yet he can still listen to the game, to the rolls, to what the DM's saying, and he's not locked to his spot. And that would be nice.
Yeah, that would help with one of my games where we don't use cameras. It doesn't help as much when the game uses cameras because you need to be sort of in frame.
Because I play, it's interesting because we play a duet, so she's the only PC.
Right, so you're constantly doing something.
It is like moves, and then I play another game on every other Saturday with your normal group of 4, and it's like I'm gonna wait around for something.
See, and
Oh,
that's
you guys
why,
finished
like,
your turn. Oh, okay.
And as a role player, that's kind of why I really, really like VTM. Not that I don't love Pathfinder, because I do. Pathfinder to the grave. Like, I will fight with people about Pathfinder.
She does.
I'm very nice about it. I'm like the nicest fighty Pathfinder person ever. But
She almost got in a fist fight at FanX.
I did not.
You and Dax.
Okay, we got a little heated. But not like shut up. Anyway, VTM... Vampire the Masquerade, I was gonna say, is very role play intensive, and so if for me as a theater person, as a performer, I got my college degree in opera, and so like I did the performance, like the big stuff.
Yeah,
it's really nice to be able to just like full on dramatize everything, but like in the game I'm playing with Jerome, there's multiple people, so like I don't have to be the center of attention all the time, which contrary to popular opinion is actually not all that fun.
It's
Sometimes.
fun.
Sometimes.
But the hard thing about the duet is you have to make all the decisions. You can't bounce off the party. You can't ask the party, what do you guys think? It's like, what decision do you want to make? Because our rule, because we switch every arc of the story within the same campaign with the same characters, we switch who's GMing.
Interesting. Okay.
So my character suddenly becomes an NPC. And the rule is my character is not allowed to make any decisions. He can give advice based on a recall knowledge, but he cannot make any decisions for the party. She has to make them. And then when we switch, her character can't make any decisions for the party. I have to make all of them.
I normally like yeet my character out of there within the first session or two when I'm DMing.
She's like, I don't want to say that.
Well, just it's really hard for me to try
Very
and
meta.
It is. Well, and it's just well, and the last time that I GM'd the last arc, we went into the boneyard and they were having to go to the gate to get to another set of gates, and
we traveled through the boneyard. She did great. It was
it was
awesome.
Nice.
fun. That was my favorite. I think my ultimate favorite session too. I've gotten to do is play all of those really crazy, creepy characters.
And this is
in the
one
boneyard
thing that I
and
will
stuff.
say, Pathfinder, in a lot of ways, a lot of people, if they're new players, they're like, oh, I don't know. I play D&D. I don't know if I want Pathfinder. It's too crunchy. But no, tell me what you think of this. In my mind, Pathfinder is actually better for 2 reasons. One, there is a rule for pretty much everything. You don't have to make judgment calls. D&D, there's a lot of GM judgment call or DM judgment calls, and if you aren't an experienced DM or even an experienced player, knowing the right judgment call can be very difficult. And 2, the amount of lore about Golarion is you can play a complete homebrewed campaign and not have to make up anything because there is so much world lore because they stuck to one world.
So I definitely agree. Those are both huge blessings for the system. They are also equally curses. The fact that there are so many rules makes the GM's life so much easier. It also makes the player's life a little bit harder, especially for those players who feel like they need to know the rules. You know, you and I may know, players need to know 2% of the rule book to play the game. A lot of people feel like they need to. It's not even that they want to. They feel like they can't play the game unless they know it back to front, and they don't want to take the time to read a 600-page rule book. The lore, similar idea. It is a bottomless resource of information, of lore and inspiration, and I steal all of it for my games. But for some people, that it can be really overwhelming. Again, the GM who wants to run the most authentic, believable, detailed world might feel the need to know everything about every kingdom in every country throughout the entire Inner Sea region, so they know how a government official would act, because the Tal'Doran government has this secret trade deal with Qadira that it has a spy from the Mwangi Expanse, so of course the Taldor mayor would say this.
You're
I'm not that GM.
describing Weston. Literally.
You are describing me.
Like you're talking, and like the more he's saying, I'm like, Weston?
I have pulled in so many, the Lost Women's Legends book. So like my character is an Azimir, but he actually...
No, his name's not Az anymore. Remember,
Charles.
It's Charles.
Yeah, it's switched because he was a...
Oh, I thought you were just saying Asimar wrong.
No. Well, he was a slave, and they didn't give him a name, but he was an Asimar, so they just call him
Az.
Oh, okay. Nice.
And so I gave him a name.
Haley's character is a Hell Knight. We began the campaign in Citadel Infarak, Hell Knight, Order of the Gate.
After the events of
Hell's Rebels. So Revenel has seceded. They're their own thing now. But this is in Citadel Infarak. My character is a slave to one of the Hell Knight signifiers and a hidden member of the Bellflower Network.
Okay.
So we've got Farmer Magdalene. She just met the Supreme Elect of Andoran. Like, I pull in.
We have
we are perfectly matched to lore from the Hell Rebels campaign and the Age of Ashes campaign. We are accurate to all of those in ours.
There was a lot.
It just happens afterward.
There was a lot of research done, and I compiled like 4 or 5 different maps of that region to try and get as accurate as we could get to what was out there. But as it is with all map compilations, there's a lot of differences. So I had to like pick and choose. Like, okay, so this trade route no longer exists, and this city is on this map but not on this map, or it's on this other map but it's up the coast. And like, so we had it was really
well, it's like
it was a lot of fun actually.
the war camp for the Revenel army is happening right outside of Crooked Cove, which is the location of the Malevolence adventure. And so like I do an insane amount of Golarion like drawing of lines. Like I've got that thing on the wall with like all the stuff drawn over here.
The rope, the string. Yeah,
I mean, you keep track of all of it through
World Anvil. So I've got World Anvil that's like
nice.
connect.
It's fun.
And so for me, that is like I don't really come up with any lore at all. I just take it and I'm like, okay, this connects here really nicely. Ooh, there we go. Story.
But our BBEG is out of world lore though. He isn't?
He is.
Okay. I just need to stop saying things when we're talking to other people about our games.
See, Weston, I am the polar opposite type of GM. My notes are an unorganized Windows notepad document where I just keep hitting enter and typing more lines. You'll usually like every session, I'll like at the start of the campaign, I'll type maybe 3 paragraphs. And then from there, like 3 sentences per session of what's going to happen. Sometimes if I'm feeling extra prepared, I'll actually prepare NPCs ahead of time.
Yeah, that sounds like me.
No, Hayley, that doesn't sound like you. You don't even write that much.
Okay.
Hayley will complete like, oh, we're just doing a session. Okay? Make the whole thing up on the spot, and I don't even know.
And it's the best session you ever had.
Yeah.
But I like it.
Dang
I
it.
like it because then the GM gets to find out what happens too.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it's like half of our adventure into the Boneyard. Like, I had very specific moments I wanted to set up to have happen, but the rest of it, like, it was like, and you see a young girl being escorted by two individuals who end up being champions of Pharasma, and like I was just like, that sounded cool in my head.
Whereas I've got like 4 or 5 articles that chain off from the main plot article, which I have about 3 paragraphs, including the speech that I've written out that I can do. And I've also got the Sirenscape music all planned out for each scene. And
so this is why he does most of the GM for our live streams. Because he like has stuff, and I feel like I'm always like, hey, Kay, so I'm pantsing this. Let's just figure it out.
So what's so interesting is I find that if and when I over prepare, or even if I'm running a pre-written adventure, it tends to slow me down, which sounds backwards because the information's already there. You just need to fact check it. Mm-hmm. But when I improvise things, I feel like the game just keeps flowing so much. Because aside from very, very intricate, like specific plot points, I don't check it. I just say this happens now. And it's something that honestly really helps a lot, especially just in those improvised sessions. I do something that I haven't seen a whole lot of GMs do. And that is roughly after, I'll keep an eye on all my players. And roughly if a player has not done something for 10 to 15 minutes, I will specifically take a moment to ask, what is this character doing? Like I will pause the current scene to see where they're at, see what they're thinking. And oftentimes that can break into full side stories.
Yep.
In a recent campaign, 2 players went inside to a magic item shop, and one player was like, I'm just gonna stay outside. I don't want anything in there. I'm like, okay. So like 15 minutes go by and they do their shopping. And I pause in there, and none of this was planned. But the goblin monk waiting outside just got approached by some shady guy selling some illicit substance in small little baggies, and had like a nice little 10-minute interaction with not a drug dealer.
Definitely not a drug dealer.
Definitely not.
It's the kind of thing like, I did not plan in my notes, then drugs happened. But it's on the spot. I need to think, where are they? They haven't gotten to do something in a little bit. Let's make sure they have something to do.
Yeah, when it's really interesting because my first jamming experience was with just Weston. So I only had that to compare to. So the first time I ever GM'd more than just him, it was a party of 3, and I was scared out of my damn mind. I was so nervous because I was like, I had no idea what to expect, because my visual was like chaos, like Critical Role or Dimension 20 or something, and I'm like, I can't do that. It ended up being absolutely beautiful, and I so enjoyed it. And I'm like, dude, like this is way easier to GM multiple individuals. But I tried to do that where I was like, okay, what is this character doing, and what is this character doing, and why are you here, and what are you thinking right now, and like that kind of stuff, because it was like, we kind of have to know what's happening with all of you individuals, especially with what I had set up in the Boneyard, because it was going to be a very emotional situation where they met loved ones that had passed on. So I actually really enjoyed it. I'm like, this is the bomb. If I had multiple people to GM all the time. I've actually offered in my Discord for Pathfinder GMs, because they're like the forever GMs. I'm like, I'll GM you guys. Let's do it. Pathfinder 2nd edition. And then I got a bunch of like, well, I want to use this VTT, or like, do you use this? Like, and I'm like, you guys all suck. I just offered to GM you.
They're like, but what about throw more on top of it, please?
Yeah, and pretty much. I was like, I'm going to use Owlbear, and they're like, ooh, Owlbear's awful. And I'm like,
Owlbear's amazing. What are they talking about?
We use Owlbear. That's what we love.
Oh,
and dudes,
sorry,
you
it
know
doesn't do the math
about.
For you. Womp womp.
I know. I'm like, well, I do everything else in Path Builder. So, like, I don't need, like, it's fine. Anyway. So I know Weston wanted to talk about Sinclair's library.
We did, but first,
Okay.
Sorry, I'll stop.
now that we've kind of covered who is NoNat, we had
I am,
to.
right? It's me.
Yes, it's you.
You in just
Okay,
in a
okay.
nutshell.
We
I'm in a
did-
nutshell.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm gonna. This is a stupid
You're
joke.
like, it's really late
This
where
is
you
me in
are.
a nutshell.
Cut it out in post.
Like this.
We don't have a post.
I don't know if you knew this. This is
No,
live.
you know what?
Oh, wait, we're live.
But I needed to. So you did a video a little while back where you took Expedia 3, Jake, and you made him as a Pathfinder character.
I sure did.
So to honor that, we had to figure out what would you be? What would NoNat be as a Pathfinder 2nd edition character?
No joke. I've been hoping someone would do that at some point because it would be so disingenuous to do it myself.
I know.
would
be.
Well,
So, like,
well, your wish has been granted.
Let's go.
So, I had to leave you. This is the one boring part of the whole thing. Is I'm looking at it, I'm like, you're human. Sorry,
Fair.
you don't have
Fair.
crazy hair, so I can't do you as some weird thing there. So you are human.
All right.
I was going to. I looked through all the backgrounds, but after seeing you in all of your plays, I had to do the entertainer background.
Okay. Sure.
So you definitely have the entertainer background.
Okay.
You are a bard.
Fair enough. You know, I sing. I do perform.
Yes.
Pretty much everything that I'm most trained at is performative in some regard.
I tried. I couldn't pull it up on this other computer, but I tried. I've got the recording of you singing Les Mis.
Oh, and it was so cute.
Wait. When?
You did a stream of it was a karaoke for charity.
thing.
Oh my
And
god!
it's still
you
on your
found
face.
that?
Yes.
Is it still public?
Uh-huh.
I thought.
Well, there's one audio that you've got of you singing. What's the song from Les Mis?
Empty
Stars?
chairs and empty tables, I believe.
Oh, empty chairs and empty tables. Yeah.
So you're singing that, and so you can sing. You're doing all that. So definitely, I was like, okay. Because I was, after watching your streams, I'm like, okay, he's doing Power Wash as Power Wash Simulator as his
Dude, that's
thing.
like,
You
that's
worked
so
as a
an
technician
ADHD thing.
at a escape room.
It is such a good song.
I was
dude.
like, oh, maybe he's an inventor. Maybe he's like an artificer type here.
No.
But then after that, I was like, no, he's definitely a bard.
Oh yeah, maybe a cat was there for that concert, that live stream.
Oh, nice.
So just mini tangent. Maybe a cat's been probably the viewer who has stuck with me the longest. Before I was NoNat1s, I was Game Boyer 721.
Yes,
We
you were
found you
on caffeine.
Caffeine. Yep.
You
I
played
streamed
mainly
on there.
Nintendo games, right?
Yep. Yeah. Mario, Zelda. I do some other stuff from now and again, but Mario and Nintendo would always pull the best numbers, which on Caffeine is not a lot. Caffeine is still around. Caffeine is still dying.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know how it's still alive.
Yeah.
However, at 2nd level, I gave you the alchemist dedication.
Oh, because I get drunk.
Because
No,
of all the
because
drinks you mix.
mixed your drinks, not just
You don't
getting
just
drunk.
buy a drink. You're like, ooh, I made this, and you mixed them.
Yeah, you mix them together.
You know, you're not wrong. I was hanging out with another creator the other day watching a movie, and I didn't have any like pre-made drinks, so I mixed fruit punch and champagne. It was delicious, by the way.
Was it? I mean, fruit
It was.
punch
So
is
have you ever had a
yummy.
mimosa?
No,
you ever had a
We don't drink.
We don't drink.
Oh, so a mimosa is champagne and orange juice, and champagne itself has a little bit of a sweetness, but it doesn't have much of an actual flavor. So what you get is bubbly orange juice, and this was basically like bubbly fruit punch.
Okay, I
That
can
would
see
be
that.
yummy.
It was really nice.
Now, your 2nd level skill feat
Okay.
is bonded animal, and it's a snake.
Oh, Weston, why would you pull this card?
Because I had to. You've had Stella for so long. There are pictures. There's pictures around there on the internet of you as like young, like our son's age.
Oh yeah. I think I was 9 years old. Yeah. I don't know if you caught the news that she passed away.
I did
about 6 months ago. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
But I had to give you that bonded animal.
I love that. I absolutely adore that. And since then, no, we've got this one.
What, a dog?
Oh,
There she is.
Oh, your little
She's
baby.
snoozing. She's snoozing. And then she's been absolutely amazing.
Dogs can be such wonderful little pick-me-ups, and they can also be such hellions. And you're like,
oh my god, the first 2 weeks we had her, when she was like still nervous, didn't know where anything was, couldn't sleep at night. Oh my god.
I remember your tweets about like, she does not stop whining. I remember you being like, who has a puppy trainer? What do I do?
Yeah. No, the running joke pretty much at least once a day for the first month was, I'm gonna throw her off the balcony.
Yeah.
And there were some nights, like I never considered it, but I considered it.
It's more like what if? And then they do something so stinking cute, like push their little nose under your hand, and you're like, okay, fine.
Yeah. I'll sit on the couch and she'll just get up right next to me and then just like thump, not like onto my lap, but into my lap.
I get that. We have a Staffordshire Bull Terrier, so she's colloquially known as a pit bull, but she's huge and she's squat, but she's massive, and she's about 100 pounds, and she is my baby.
She is.
Oh my gosh, I love that dog so much. But then we also have a black lab.
Yep.
A little runt black lab named Astrid, who was our first.
Yeah.
So
yeah, okay, we can get off dogs. I'm sorry.
Stop talking about dogs.
Yeah, you'll get her off. So a couple of important things that I did add to your character here. You do have basic concoctions because you need to be able to stir. So you got your dedication feat there. And then you got poison resistance. And I gave you trained in medicine with robust recovery, because my gosh, how you are still able to stream by with the amount you drunk by the end of some of those streams. You must have a feat that keeps you going.
There are a few of them where the second the camera goes off, I walk over to my couch and I just lay there.
You're like, I can't move.
There's a few I've gone a little bit overboard. Never to like a harmful detriment. I know exactly where my safe zone is. So like, always drink responsibly, kids, if you do drink and you are of age.
Yes.
But know your limits.
So I put you at level 6 because you seem to like kind of that mid-range. You like there. You like less than 10 generally. So I kept you a little lower, hit 6 level, because I think that's where you like to play, between 6 and 8.
Yeah. Yep.
And so you are a bard with your alchemist dedications.
Okay. What kind of spells am I taking, Weston? What are my actually better question for each of the levels 1, 2, and 3? What are my signature spells?
Yeah, I didn't have time for all that.
He did that. He did this afternoon.
I did this afternoon after spending all day yesterday just pouring through all the research about NoNat1s.
I've got to say though, it was so cute. He was so excited about the fact that he found your Facebook page. That he I was on a stream last night until way too late, 11:30, and it was a wonderful conversation. It was everyday superhero cast, and Julian is incredible, an asset to this community for mental health. But I get done, it's 11:30 our time, and I go upstairs, and Weston's like, can I show you something? He's so excited. Ended up not showing me until this morning because of
it was you singing Les Mis.
But he was so excited. He was so excited to show me that.
I dug up here. I've got another 10 photos of you in different plays that I didn't bring up, because we do need to though get into
talk about other things.
Well,
I'm sorry.
We're talking about Pathfinder, but then there's also D&D, and you are creating for both.
Which is
unusual. Creating for both. Yes. Well, so we knew that, full transparency, obviously, a product that is released for both systems will sell better than one that only sells for one.
Yes.
You know, there was a part of us that, being our first project, we were really, really worried that if we only released it for Pathfinder, it would not get the support it needed. And what effectively ended up proving, it proved pretty correct. A very decent chunk of our sales are for 5th edition. And more surprising than anything, a lot of our sales were for both. A lot of people have backed it to get both books in both systems.
You realize
that was a hard decision that we were making when we were having to like actually put in like which one we wanted. It was like, I was like, well, we should get it for Pathfinder, and then Weston's like, well, but we're going to be playing D&D later, which
But now you're
no longer playing D&D because I pretty much put a kibosh on that.
She's like, no, we're not switching.
We're not switching.
D&D.
I love Pathfinder.
So now we're going to have to go
Pathfinder.
buy it in Pathfinder 2.
I don't remember if it's too late to swap around or not. Your
Message
order.
us later and let us know, because
He's
we
like,
were
yeah,
going
we can talk
we
about
were
it
going
later,
to play
but-
for our next campaign that starts this next year. We were going to do D&D 5th edition. Haley's like, yeah, no, I know Pathfinder well now. I like it. I don't want to leave. I'm like,
Well, and after honestly, after spending a little bit more time like in the creator community, and I'm sure you understand this, Nona, the idea that like create what you love because you'll find the base from there, is I've spent the last year of us streaming trying to figure out how to find the audience instead of just playing what I enjoy and what we enjoy as a couple. And so I'm like, I finally was like, this is stupid. I do enjoy D&D. It's not that I have poo-poo on D&D. I enjoy Pathfinder better. I have a love in my heart for Pathfinder, not for D&D.
Fair, yeah.
So.
And that's where I found actually a little bit of difficulty lately.
Oh, thank you so much for the raid. Sorry, not to totally interrupt you.
Go. Let's go.
Raiding time.
Oh.
Welcome, chaotician writer and your party of 6 to party
Let's
of 2.
go.
Thank you so much for the raid. We are chatting with NoNat1s, content creator, YouTuber, extraordinaire, celebrity.
and part of the creators
Celebrity's a
of
little extreme.
Sinclair's library.
You have more followers than Paizo. You are a celebrity.
You do, man.
Oh man.
Anyway, sorry. Moving
No,
on.
you're good. You're good. So I've been finding a little bit of difficulty with that lately. Is I play D&D every single week. I play D&D just as often as Pathfinder. Some weeks even more often. And so I've wanted to branch out into making D&D content, and it's impossible to know exactly what it is. But whether it's the algorithm seeing that's not Pathfinder, no one wants that, or my audience just not giving a crap about D&D, those videos flop. Like they're
Really?
bad. I want to make them. I want to talk about it and share my thoughts and my experiences. But when they get less than half the views of a Pathfinder video, it is so hard to push through that. Not only because, low numbers make brain chemicals go sad.
Yeah, it makes you be like, oh.
Right? But also, this is my full-time job, but I'm still a very, very small-scale YouTuber.
Yeah.
One video or 2 videos a month doing poorly is rough. One bad month is really, really bad right now. I'm not making, 6 figures or anywhere close.
Oh,
so
thank you for the follow.
That's the raid notification finally.
Oh, that's finally our raid notification? Oh, geez, that was delayed by a crap ton. Gosh, no, I understand that because, we're not in a position where we're even making money yet. So,
It's hard. It's a lot of luck. It's so much luck. Like, you the strategies you implement and everything you do, it's similar to, a tabletop RPG. It's just to control the luck. At the end of the day, it's still luck. You can be a fighter with maximum bonuses to attack, but if you only roll 5s and below, you're still not going to hit.
Shut up. Look, I have the Will Wheaton curse. Leave me alone.
She had a fight against a Ruselka, and it wraps you up in its hair, and then you've got to do your saves in order to try and get out of it. She couldn't roll above a 10 almost the entire combat. And it wasn't supposed to be that hard of a combat, but she was restrained the entire time.
And
it was interesting.
I was mad. I wasn't mad at you. I was mad at my dice. I threw so many dice that session because I was so pissed off.
Now, I want to focus back just a little bit on Sinclair's library, because a lot of our people, they don't know about it. I know we got a lot of D&D players on here, and this is an amazing book that you can play and use even if you aren't playing Pathfinder. If you're playing D&D,
So it's 2 books.
Yes.
It's 2 books.
So go ahead and tell us a little bit more about Sinclair's library.
And like, why
So-
you even created it?
So Sinclair's library is sort of the brainchild of me and my then channel manager, now business creative director, Nathan. He doesn't usually come to the spotlight. He's not in it to get his face recognized or anything. This is definitely something he's wanted to do for a long time. We both love the system, and we both had a bunch of cool ideas we wanted to see come to light. And so we figured we have the NoNat1s YouTube channel as a very beneficial jumping off point for a product like this. Most people who want to release something don't have an audience of 20,000 people they can put it in front of right away.
Very true.
So we're like, this is a very limited opportunity that we would love to take advantage of, and not take advantage of, the viewers, but take advantage of the
opportunity.
the situation.
Yeah.
We found exactly. Yeah. And in doing so, we wanted to make the highest quality, best, closest to official books we possibly could. And so far, every single brick, through a lot of luck, has fallen into place for this Kickstarter. Our initial goal was 30,000, and we live streamed the first 2 hours of the Kickstarter, and we thought maybe we can hit like 20,000.
We were there for that.
We
were
watched
there.
it.
Oh,
We watched that. That was so exciting to watch that happen in real time. Like, so
Yeah.
cool. But holy shnikes!
We bid.
$140,000 now?
yep.
We backed
and
on
with
that
even-
first stream. We were on that stream and we backed that day.
Yo, rock. But yeah, and we still to this day are getting pre-orders. So we've made a little bit more than that funding for the book. And honestly, thank goodness, making a book, especially if you want to make one really, really like industry standard, costs so much more than $35,000.
It's so much money.
But yeah, no, with what we've made, we've been able to do what we want to do without cutting corners. We got, are you familiar with David N. Ross?
Yes.
Yes.
For those of you in the chat, he's the one converting Abomination Vaults to 5th edition D&D from Pathfinder. He is converting both books of Sinclair's. He is the one converting both of those.
Because
Yep.
that was one question I wanted to ask you, was about like that process, because they are 2 very different systems.
Yep. So, and we knew, as most of our staff and freelancers are Pathfinder players first and foremost, we knew we could not do it justice. And the last thing we want is for the 5th edition copy to be a pale imitation of the Pathfinder copy.
True.
So we got the
Yeah.
best in the business that we could to handle that conversion. And
That's
we know
incredible.
so we're looking so much forward to that. But as for the books themselves, these are 2 books in what is going to be a line. Sinclair's library is going to go beyond these 2 books. We are an official registered business now, Sinclair's Entertainment. We are hoping to release additional supplements, adventures, everything along the whole 9 yards. Hell, there's very, 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 very tentative plans if things do super well to get like comics or novels or something like that. We want to build our own universe around Sinclair's, but of course we're starting with what people currently want the most, which is content. The codex is an NPC codex, something that I'm still shocked doesn't really exist for Pathfinder 2 even up to this point.
There are finding good NPCs, especially if it's something you want more than just a one-off NPC that you meet and then leave. You want someone who could be there, that engages with things. We've had a number of times where it's like, I want an NPC that's like, they're even going to be there in the battle. Like, I've got plans later on for large-scale battles, and I'm like, I want these guys going in the side. They need to be full characters, though.
Right. Yeah. And all of the NPCs in this book are coming with stat blocks. Even that little girl by the well is going to have a stat block. She's not going to have a lot, but she's going to have a stat block. They're going to have lore. They're going to have story hooks, as well as artwork. Every single NPC will come with artwork.
That's awesome.
And
Well,
sort of
some of that artwork that you were teasing before you dropped the Kickstarter, like, so beautiful.
and it keeps coming. Oh.
We dream of a day where we could commission artwork for our show.
That would all not be possible without Nathaniel Himoan. He's our artistic director. He's done all of the art that's been public facing so far, and he is just one of one of those lucky bricks that fell into place. And yeah, what's exciting, and you can kind of see it scrolling through what you just did there, is that as you go through the book and you start looking at sort of stronger and more powerful characters, the artwork gets more detailed. So if you scroll up at like citizens and whatnot, they're mostly going to be like pencil sketches and very rough. Whereas as you get to heroes and villains and eventually the 5 nemesis NPCs in the book, they get more greater and greater details to the point where the nemesis NPCs are getting full page splashes of just gorgeous artwork. And these nemesis NPCs are each at least, if you count the splash art, 3 pages long, if not longer. Massive stat blocks, multiple paragraphs of lore. They are designed to be world-ending threats that you can design an entire campaign around. Most of them are at least creature level 22 or higher.
Ooh,
wow!
For the nemesis. We've actually just released the official artwork for the 5 of them on the Sinclair's. Actually, yeah, you're on the Kickstarter. So you go to the updates. Go to updates.
I don't know if I'm logged
Are you logged in?
I don't know if I'm logged in.
I think you can still check updates anonymously. Yeah, meet our nemesis. Yeah, so these are our big ones. Whoa. Yeah, we've got Liliana, who's sort of the star of the almanac. With also, if you scroll back up to her, we'll get to him in a second. The Hellfire Bison, I believe it's called. That is, we are adding statistics for that as a player animal companion as well.
So it's what's the name of the flying bison in Avatar?
Appa.
Abba.
It's an evil Abba.
Evil Appa, boss 3.
This is Abba from the Fire Nation.
Yes.
This is if Zuko was the Avatar.
This is if Zuko had the bison.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
That's super cool.
Those are beautiful.
I want to see this next one. Look at that.
Yeah.
Thing.
What is this?
If you scroll down, there's a short description of Hoonerdell, the mad geneticist.
The world has ever been a dangerous place, haunted by what?
You sure you want to read this?
Fine,
one?
go ahead.
Okay. The world has ever been a dangerous place, haunted by unsettling monsters, but some things are beyond mortal or even immortal ken, foul things that have no place in nature's design, and yet these aberrations now multiply throughout the region, spreading, infecting, consuming. They must come from somewhere beyond the world itself, unless they were made somehow. But who would commit such atrocities, create such monsters? Who could? Dooms, your name is in the way.
It just says who could.
Who could? Question.
And that's a great example of like these nemesis. You build a campaign around them. Like it's sort of implied that Hoonerdell is creating these monsters across the world, and so you can start with low-level aberrations, fight their way up to inevitably stopping him. Oh, Doreni.
That's awesome. That is a freaking cool looking bad guy.
Now we took a lot of inspiration from classical vampire, not like modern day vampire, but a lot more when they were
true
monsters,
horror.
Not people. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Then we've got here's more human.
This is the staff favorite. He's just a dude. He's just
hot.
Sebastian. He's very hot. The closest comparison we usually hear is Dr. Robotnik from the Sonic movies. A little
Yes! Or like an
or as our kids call him, Dr. Egghead.
Our kids call him Dr. Egghead.
But yeah, he's awesome. Just a dude. Now he's a dude who's stolen artifacts from extraplanar locations and is decked out with said artifacts. But he's just a dude.
Synth Knight asked the question. Yes, there are PDF.
Yep, they're going
versions.
to all be in PDF.
Yeah, he says, are there PDF releases intended for this? Asking because my bookshelf is getting kind of full. Yes, they have PDF
PDFs
versions.
will be the first thing available once shipping has happened. Then PDFs will also be going out.
That's so awesome.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh,
wait,
there's my baby.
Bad guy?
There's my baby. Yeah, Mikhail. That's my baby. I designed him. It's a construct. So I guess
it's an Aeon, yeah.
It's yeah. So the whole thing with Mikhail is it was created through a collaborative effort of every single good aligned deity, but with all of their specifications on what exactly good is, it no longer deems any mortal good enough. and its whole purpose is to destroy that which is not good and cleanse it.
This reminds me, so there's a debate that goes back and forth a lot of times in our campaign because Anna was a Hell Knight.
My character's name is
her character's a Hell Knight, and the debate was like, oh well, it's fine, slavery, oh it's fine, so it's legal,
within the laws,
well, but it's not legal
legal
there. So whose laws are we obeying? Was always Anna's big
She was
thing.
not a good Hell Knight, at all. She was very good and noble and honorable, and she's
well, and
that's
what's so interesting about Mikhail is it does not care about law or chaos. No. It only cares about good. Mm-hmm. You could follow the law to a T, but you're not good enough. Like
nothing is good enough.
Exactly.
I imagine even the gods are not good enough because all of them, this one doesn't obey what that one says was good, and so on and so forth. And so even the deities themselves would be...
Could you trick him into going after the gods? Okay, so now I'm thinking with like campaign ideas. That'd be
exactly.
fun.
That's exactly what we want the Nemesis to do. Even if you don't use them as amazing inspiration for potential game ideas is everything we're going for with the Codex.
Oh, it's awesome. So what is your piece of the puzzle in all of this? Are you like the director bringing everybody together? Are you actually writing this stuff?
I am writing far less than I think people would expect. We have a huge team. The team has gotten so much bigger than we ever expected. We've got Luis Loza, we've got our not creative director, lead designer, Tabletop Obscura,
cool.
as well as a bunch of other freelancers working on it. I think we're up to 15 writers at this point.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I'm probably writing less than 5% of the project. Now, what I am doing, I am very much the marketing face. We'll be using the channel to keep people updated, to show it off.
And I have to say, a very successful marketing face based on that Kickstarter.
Thank you. No, our biggest regret so far is that we haven't been able to post enough updates. We've been doing a lot of wide work, but not a lot of forward work, if that makes sense. I would wager over half of the book is already written. It just still needs to be first pass edited, then fixed, then second pass edited, and then formatted. So it's there. It's just the less fun work that needs to be done.
Yes, I work, like I told you earlier, I work in software development, and a lot of times it can be really cool to spend more time. Ooh, look at this new feature. We could add this feature, rather than spending the time of the testing and the QAing and the revising and the getting customer feedback and whatever on this thing you already built. You're like, no, I want to go to the new idea. Now you gotta drill down with what you've already got.
Yeah. So Dooms is asking if the Kickstarter is currently still open.
So for pre-orders, absolutely, yeah. Pre-orders are going to be open for a while longer now because there's a whole weird thing with Kickstarter where once you close pre-orders, they're done. You can no longer pre-order the book through Kickstarter. So we're just probably going to leave that open until the book launches. Like a pre-order, and then once it's out, you just order. Plus, it leaves an opportunity for people to get the add-ons. We got 2 unique dice sets associated with it, a unique dice holder, lots of cool stuff that you can still, up to even to this day, tack onto your original Kickstarter order.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, you can't.
No?
No, he's telling me I can't.
Oh.
Haley just gave me the look of, honey. I was like,
I'm
no,
just saying,
no.
The dice of fate are metal with a gold trim.
I currently have a red set. We got quite a bit of dice from Fanix over the weekend. I think I need to hold off on not doing any more dice right now.
But yes, it is totally available. So yeah, the Lost Tribes Gaming dropped the link in the chat.
Thank you, Jerome.
So if you are interested, we've backed it. We're excited for it. We were there, in that initial stream, watching those numbers go up, and I was like, oh my gosh.
I'm so
I know, you were so cute though, because the higher the number would get, your eyes would get
I
really
cried.
big.
I cried by the end. Yeah. When we were able to put on funded in under 2 hours, it broke me. Oh my God, it went so far beyond.
Yeah.
Oh, the hardest part was, and again, you learn a lot from your first Kickstarter. We could have had stronger follow through. That first day was amazing. We could have done a lot more with the rest of the month.
Mhm.
It's something we learned, going forward, you need advertising throughout the entire month. Otherwise, it just sort of like slows down to a crawl. Of that 130,000, we probably made 80% of it in the first week.
That's
So
incredible.
It's
That's
still
lot,
mind blowing.
though. I mean, like, that's a lot. Well, I remember the other Kickstarter that I think I was as excited about was watching Brandon Sanderson's Kickstarter for his.
Is that
books.
the $2 million one?
Yeah.
Well, no, it
Or
way
20
more
million?
than that.
Yeah.
It was the record. It was the record.
I think
yeah.
it's $49 million. I could be wrong.
That's wild.
It's insane. Well, the highest tier you could get was like, I think it was like $390.
Yeah, it ended at $41,758,153.
Yeah, so it's the
That's
highest
insane.
backed for his category, isn't it? Or is it the highest backed?
I think of all time. Pretty sure of all time.
Okay. Brandon Sanderson is just a brilliant businessman in the idea of the way that he does everything. Like, he doesn't. I freaking love the fact that he circumvents the publisher. That he's just like,
Well,
I'm gonna do my own thing, thanks.
So what people are learning, and an example of this is Matthew Colville.
Oh, I love Matt Colville.
They're learning that they can use Kickstarter as a pre-order to get the idea of exactly how much they need to print. A normal publisher will say, okay, we're going to be looking at roughly this size audience, so we should, print the maximum of that projected audience. Whereas in a Kickstarter, if you get 1 million pre-orders, to print like 1,000,001 copies. Like you circumvent so much back-end cost and wasted potential. And
and it's such a better model, in my opinion, to get direct to consumer versus having to go through a middleman who's going to be, Brandon Sanderson still has incredible art directors. He has formatters. He has everything that the publishing houses are going to do for him for the Stormlight archives. He is going to have, and these books are
just
going to be
in-house.
Gorgeous. But I love this idea that like people are getting savvy enough that we can circumvent and create things like yours with Sinclair's library, and it's going to be an incredible book, but you're not having to deal with like writing it and then pitching it and querying it and getting it to the publisher and then waiting and having.
And then
it
can we get it into stores
and
and can we,
Yeah, I'm seeing that a lot on TikTok right now with Book Talk, where authors are just pretty much saying, screw you publishers, we're getting direct to the consumer, and people are doing really, really well right now because of that. How long that's going to happen, I don't know, because TikTok is going to change its algorithm, and like Kindle is going to probably do something stupid, and then they're suddenly going to dry up. Everything will dry up. But right now it's really awesome. It's big enough that TikTok is talking about creating its own like sub
book
of just Book Talk.
Oh, nice.
So it's
So quick question, we're getting close to the end here.
No, we're not. Stop it. Shut up. I know it's almost midnight.
It's late. It's almost midnight for NoNat.
I'm a little sleepy.
Yeah.
I know. That was me last night.
Just wanted to ask, what advice? There are a lot of people who are wanting to create homebrew or third-party content, and I believe that the great thing about TTRPGs is you can. Like, if something doesn't exist, you can, and you're like, hey, this doesn't exist. I'm going to create this class. I'm going to create this book. I'm going to create these NPCs. What advice would you give for someone who is wanting to create third-party content?
I guess it depends what the goal is. Are you planning to use this at your own personal table, or is this something you might want to release on like Drive-Thru-RPG to give to other people to play with? Because that is very different philosophies.
Yeah, I would say beyond just your own
to make
own
money,
table.
to make a little bit of
To make
cash.
money. So, I will tell you the one sentence that I keep in mind at all times for the last 10 years of my life. Good artists borrow, great artists steal. There is no shame in taking something that already exists and warping it into a new form. Now, you can't just take it and paste it onto your paper, because that's called stealing. But if you can steal it without people realizing you stole it, and what I mean by that is, a way I'll often come up with magic items or new feats is looking at existing spells in the game. You know, if you look at, Scorching Ray is a level 2 spell that can deal 4d6 fire damage. I want to make a magic item that's a ring that just shoots a ray of fire for 1 action, you know? And, you know, it's a very similar idea. Now, you have to start taking into account a lot of things. For balance's sake, you need to always look at the closest existing option to what you're doing. And so for the sake of this analogy, let's say that ring is Scorching Ray. Scorching Ray is a 2nd level spell, so you need to be at least level 3 to use it. It costs 1 to 3 actions, so that's a little messier. But let's just say it does 4d6 damage at level 3. A level 3 character can only use it maybe 2 or 3 times because they're limited spell slots.
Correct.
If you are going to put something similar on a magic item, and let's say it's infinite use, you know, it's not once a day. You can use it as often as you want for 1 action. So we're already looking at infinite use is going to make it a higher level because resource management is important. Yeah. If it's only 1 action, that's incredibly powerful. So that bumps it up even more levels. And so even if this thing only does 1d6 damage, so 1/4 of the damage of Scorching Ray, because it can be used infinitely, because it's 1 action, which is better than most cantrips, I would say a 1d6 1 action ray of fire off of a ring would probably be at least a 4th level magic item, maybe 5th. And I get that a lot of it comes from practice and learning how many levels is this worth. And it's almost an average, you know, 1 action is worth definitely multiple levels above what it can do, but it's only 1d6 damage, so that kind of subtracts a level or 2. And it's not a perfect science. Your best bet is to look at as many different things as possible that are close to it. Look at other 1 action damage dealing abilities. Look at other abilities that deal 1d6 damage exactly. It's annoying. It's obnoxious, but it's so much easier than trying to create something in a vacuum.
Yeah. No, I'd agree with that. And I feel like in D&D, there's so many more other creators that are out there doing that kind of stuff. It's very easy to kind of get the format of like how to do it. I have a good friend of mine who creates for D&D 5e, and it's all magical items, exactly the way that you said it. Like he and I have talked about how he creates it all, and it's all from some random thing, like item that he saw while he was looking at his books. And I was like, oh, this is a good idea. We're going to tweak it a little bit.
Tweak it here.
And
change it there.
Exactly.
He also has an incredible artist that does gorgeous artwork, so that helps.
And this is
Abyssal Brews.
Yeah, Abyssal Brews.
But yeah, sometimes it's just as easy as sticking an existing effect on something that normally wouldn't be able to do it. One of my favorite magic items I ever made was for Pathfinder 2e. And I think I just called it the Singing Sword. And it's basically just like a long sword with holes drilled through it. And when you swing it, it also uses the Bard's Inspire Courage.
There we go.
Now it's like a level 6 rune or whatever, however it would be on Pathfinder. It's a level 6 magic sword. It's just a +1 sword that does this. So, you know, I took a level 1 Bard ability and put it on a level 6 item. It's a really good one. But yeah, I love that one. Like, it's a great way. I think it's an untapped potential of magic item of equipment that makes up for the lack of a certain class.
Yes. As being in a party of just 2 people, anything that we can have that makes up for a class we don't have.
I mean, we're already dual classed anyway.
Yeah, we are. But like that just, it does help. If we didn't do dual class though, it would be very helpful to have some additional abilities there that we don't have.
It's really weird to play when we're not dual classed, when I'm like playing with other people, because I'm so used to it that I'm like,
she is so used to being OP.
That I'm like, it only did what damage? Really? Oh, okay.
Well, that's one thing I found that's almost spoiled me about free archetype and Pathfinder 2 in general. Like, when I make a D&D 5th edition character, you know, like, I'm done in 5 minutes. I'm like, that's all I get? Like, where's... I don't even get to pick my subclass.
I know, the very first time I had to create a D&D character, I was so confused. And I went to Weston and I was like, is this really what it's supposed to like? And you had to keep reassuring me, yeah, that's it, this is it. Like, there aren't more
options. There aren't more things you have to choose.
Now, where that's beneficial is it leaves more room for roleplay.
It does.
I made a video about this. It's one of my top or more higher up videos, which is like top 5 player mistakes in Pathfinder 2e, and one of them is losing your roleplay to your character sheet. You're spending so long looking at what you can do that you lose the character themselves. Whereas in 5e, when your character can just attack, cast a cantrip, and 2 spells at the end, it's a lot easier to think in the moment rather than in the paper.
Yeah, that's true. Well, your character's a lot like that because you dual classed in 2 magic using abilities or whatever.
Yeah, I've got spells coming out my ears.
So that could be a lot,
It is.
Yeah, I mean, granted, you use like 3 of them.
Path Builder is the only thing that makes it possible for me to play that. Is that Path Builder has the ability to do the dual class within the app. Otherwise, there's no way in heck I'd be able to pull that off.
Okay, I have a question really quick before you pull the plug.
All right, go.
So why do you think with the rise of Pathfinder 2nd edition specifically, I mean, they recently just won Game of the Year by the gaming whatever. I saw the thing and it said Gamer of the Year, so whatever. Why do you think there are so few creators out there that are creating for Pathfinder 2nd edition? Because when we started a year and a half ago, we noticed that there's a lack of creators in the community that are really creating good, high quality content. I mean, like there's there's how it's played. Yeah, how it's
Rules
played.
Lawyer.
Yeah, the Rules Lawyer. There's a couple of really great creators, but there's only a handful. So what do you think it is about Pathfinder that doesn't really lend itself to being a creator-based game?
The sad truth of all of it is that Pathfinder is still an ant compared to D&D. Even if it is the 2nd biggest RPG in the world, I do a lot of research on this, and I recently looked up the Google Trends where you can look up how often different keywords are searched. Throughout the month of what came before us? August. Throughout the month of August, Pathfinder was searched 33,000 times. Throughout the month of August, the term D&D was searched 570,000 times. Almost 20 times more.
Holy
so
cow.
you look at it, and D&D YouTube is even not that big. You compare it to something like gaming or beauty or other hobbies. Like how D&D YouTubers off the top of my head are XP to level 3, Runesmith, like Puffin Forest doesn't really do D&D anymore. He's much more into magic.
Dungeon Dudes.
The Dungeon Dudes.
Yep. Joe Cat has said that he's sort of done after his crap guide to D&D. There's not a lot.
I've stopped watching as many D&D videos lately, so I think a lot
of people have
a bunch of
but I think that's true of a lot of people, is that tabletop YouTube is not as prominent as it used to be. Either that, or it's that YouTube as a whole has grown, but tabletop YouTube has not, so it feels smaller. But to return, go ahead.
Well, I was about to say, I wonder if a major part of that is the fact that there was this artificial inflation of interest because of COVID. So all these people were at home, and so nobody had, that's why we started playing. And so you have this mass influx of gamers that wanted to play, and then COVID kind of, they've got,
and now people are outside
jobs,
again,
and they're outside, and they're leaving the house.
True.
And
so we kind of had that opportunity for that bump, and now we're going down the bit of the slope. We had a bit of a bubble. In the space.
Well, you and I talked about how Critical Role artificially inflated the consumer base as well.
Yeah.
So creators came in thinking that there was this huge consumer base, and there's really not. Anyway, continue what you were saying. That was my
where was I? I don't know. But yeah, at the end of the day, if if D&D is roughly 20 times the size of Pathfinder, then there would be roughly 1/20th the number of creators covering the topic. It's rough. And honestly, I hate bursting the bubble, and I know everyone was so hyped that Pathfinder 2e won Game of the Year. But I looked at the runner-ups. I hadn't even heard of either of them. D&D definitely was not even in the running for that competition.
That it wasn't included.
And like Call of Cthulhu wasn't on there, Cyberpunk wasn't even a runner-up. Like one of the runner-ups was like the Lord of the Rings role-playing game or something.
Oh yeah,
like that.
Not even the one.
Yeah,
because like there's the One Ring, but then there's the Lord of the Rings role-playing game. There's two separate games.
I don't even know.
That's crazy. I just saw the thing and I was like, oh, that's really cool. They won Game of the Year.
Right? Yeah, I think a lot of people got super hyped. Yeah, I don't know why D&D wasn't an option. Maybe, I guess they knew it would just be completely unfair.
It's why if you analyze streaming potential for different games and stuff, you have to take Critical Role out completely.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
You cannot include them.
If you want to see like, okay, what's the viewership for a show, a streamed actual play, don't include Critical Role in the calculations.
No,
because it's not part of it.
They screw everything up.
Which,
no. Somebody's gonna take that out of context. No, they don't screw everything up. We love Critical Role at Party.
But they're outlier.
They are wonderful. They are outliers. They will never be touched.
They are
again.
the exception.
But
they are a Hollywood production.
They are. But speaking of these two topics that you brought up, the creators and then of course Critical Role and actual plays, is there any interest, NoNat, in you? I found a single actual play with you and Min-Maxed. That's the only one I could find.
Do you want to come play with us?
I would have to add a 5th campaign a week.
No. It would be like a pop in, say hello, and then you could go.
Oh yeah. Talk to my have your people call my people.
But is there any interest in you? Because I know you're in a lot of games. Like, is there any idea of starting an actual play with some of that?
Back when the channel was in its infancy, like 6 months in, me and Min-Max talked it out. We recorded a few hours of the Slithering adventure.
Yep.
It was a ton of fun. Loved the game. But what I found was the numbers on those videos were pitiful. They were like, even back then, they were getting like less than half of my normal videos, and they took 5 times as long. I was heavily editing these, cutting them down, because my goal would be to take a 2-hour session and put it into a digestible 30-minute video.
Cool.
Just the important parts, just the funny parts, cut out all the dinner. Wow. And I still have that goal to some extent. The hard part is just knowing it would not perform as well. It would take a lot longer to do. And financially, I just can't afford it. I would want to do it right. I would want all the players in person. I would want high quality cameras and lighting, and that is all its own investment. And then if the videos performed worse than my current content, it would just be losing and hemorrhaging money that I can't afford to lose right now.
Yeah, no, we've noticed that too. To be totally honest, we absolutely love the people that come and watch our shows and like hang out with us on like this show and Family Gaming Experience. Our actual play normally does not get as much viewership.
And the hard
Even
part
though we love you guys, please come.
Please come to our show.
The hardest part is how oversaturated it is.
It is.
When it comes to channels covering like the rules, there's not that many. But actual plays, there's so many of them. And the hard part is that I think a lot of them, I'm trying to think of a not jerk way to say this. Most of them
are not very good.
A lot of them are a group of friends who turned a microphone on. There's no audio balancing. It's low quality. They don't cut out dead air. And that brings the average quality. When you take them all, mush them all together and get the average, that pushes the average quality down. I know for a fact there's tons of high quality actual plays out there that do not get the recognition they deserve. One of them that just had to shut down, I felt so bad because they had just paid for a sponsor segment, was what was the name? I listened to one episode and I loved it. I was going to keep listening. And then their creator messaged me and was like, hey, we had to cancel the podcast.
That is such a sad thing to see, because like I've been in the sphere, and Weston, when I say I mean us, but Weston is not, he doesn't do our social media at all. So it's me. When you see Hayley posting on Party of Two and it says, hey, we have someone that does that, or like we say, it's me, I'm the one saying it. But it always hurts a little bit when I see creators that kind of do that final message post of like, we've decided we're not going to do this anymore, or like I have to focus on other things if they're just a one person creator, and it just makes me hurt.
Yeah, that's
a time committing thing to be a creator.
Yeah,
It's so much. And when you get to a certain, especially once it becomes a full-time job, it becomes so much more than just making videos. It's networking, it's managing sponsors, it's finding time to show up on awesome shows with really nice hosts on Twitch. And it's
who are you talking about? No.
And I won't lie, the thought of ever having to send that message is one of my deepest fears lately. Is if I ever got to a point where like views kept slowing down, did not pick back up, and like I had to get a part-time job somewhere else, which in and of itself is basically like signing a death warrant. Because more time spent at a real life job means less time spent on YouTube, which means less videos, which means less views, which means less algorithm.
It just starts
it all
everything
snowballs.
falls apart. And that's like, it's an interesting thing for us because we both have full-time jobs. We have 3 little boys. We have normal life, and we've still made this a priority, but we had to back down. We had 3 shows at one point on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday that were all live streamed, and it was like, mommy's mental health wants to burn it all to the ground. So we need to take one of the shows out.
And we did that.
And we did. That's why we only have our Wednesday where it flips off between a family gaming experience and Tabletop Terrain Talks, because I could not do it anymore. So anyway, after that wonderful,
on that
amazing,
positive, happy note,
lovely, depressing note.
We love gaming. We
do,
so thankful.
Absolutely. And I would not give up my job for the world. Like, this is I've literally dreamt of this being my full-time job since I was 15 years old.
That's amazing. I know. I on one of your lives, you said that it had taken you 11 years.
Yep,
to
roughly
get there.
that.
And I was like, I remember hearing you say that, and I was like, oh, frick, seriously? Like, this is going to take us forever.
Yeah. I mean, you said you found my Game Boy or 721. That goes before Caffeine TV. That goes before live streaming. That was a YouTube channel like that was uploading videos when I was a freshman in high school.
Oh my gosh. Well, our 10-year-old now thinks that that's like, here's what he wants to do. He's Michael Gamer. That was his channel. He had his own channel, and he would live stream he would sit next to us when he came home from school, and he would live stream for like an hour, and it was adorable. And he never got any views, and he would ask me, Mom, why is nobody coming to my live stream? And I'm like, honey, nobody comes to ours either.
It's so hard, and you have to commit. You have to just keep on pushing.
You do.
May I have one more little quick story before we wrap up?
Sure.
It's the moment that I will never forget as long as I live. It's probably the catalyst that kept me attempting content creation past high school. I started when I was a freshman. By the time I was a senior, I had like 300 subscribers on YouTube at the end, and most of which didn't watch. But there was a time where one of my classmates brought in her like 8-year-old younger brother, and he like really took a shine to me. Like, we would hang out after school while everyone else was doing stuff. I wouldn't babysit the kid, but he just really liked hanging out with me because I was the cool 17-year-old kid who clearly knows everything about life. And at one point I had found out that he liked, I hadn't even asked him. I was just like, out of curiosity, rewatching a series of Pokemon. I was just a let's play of Pokemon I had made like a year prior. And the kid sat down next to me, and I was like, what are you doing? And I was like, just watching myself. And he wanted to watch it. And we sat there and watched, I want to say 12 episodes in a row of my content. And he was laughing, and he was like loving it. Like, he was super into it. And that moment of physically seeing somebody in person next to me enjoying my content, even if he was, just an 8-year-old kid, that moment was more like emotionally stirring to me than some shows I put on in front of 100-person audiences. It was.
I get that, because this really took over the theater bug for me. It helped me. It's your baby growling.
She hears someone in the hallway, I'm sure.
Oh, go protect daddy. But I like this very much fulfilled that theater bug in me of needing to perform and getting that instant feedback that you would normally get from the audience, but getting it from chat, and being able to have that experience and then have people tell us later through random encounters whatever, like that we made them feel better, or like that they love coming and just hanging out and talking to us. And somebody called me, one of the shows, actually it was a show that I did with Q Times. I ended up getting the nickname Mountain Mama. And I'm now like, for their game, for their people, anytime they see me in chat, they're like, Mountain Mama, like it's so exciting. And
It's so wholesome.
I'm like, and that's what I love about it. I love being able to do that, and that's why I probably will never stop doing it, even if we only have 2 people that come to our show, because we play for ourselves and not for the audience. Come to our show. Anyway, Weston, shut me up so we can let.
Yeah, sorry, Weston. We just kind of went on emotional tirade.
This is what happens.
This is what happens when you become a part of our show and a part of our little family.
Which you're now part of. You are on this Discord, so you are trapped now. You don't get to leave ever.
Whoa, way to make him feel welcomed and not terrified in the slightest.
But we want to thank so much NoNat for taking the time. I know it's late there. Thank you for coming on. It is a huge thing for us to have you on. I want to drop once again the link to Sinclair's library. There it is. So go check that out. Anyone who's running a game always needs good NPCs. You always need good NPCs. You always need good character monsters, because there's too many just random monsters. But getting character monsters that have things behind them, intention, that makes a campaign a lot of times. I know ours, Cuthwaldwin, who's the big bad of ours, it makes the campaign. Go check out Sinclair's library and Sinclair's codex. Check it out on Kickstarter. You can still get in because they haven't fulfilled yet.
When does it cut off? Like, when can people?
I think only once we release. I think the pre-orders are available until we release the product.
So they got
You got a hot minute then. We're good.
You got a hot minute.
Okay.
It's happening tomorrow, so go today and buy
for a limited time only. Oh my gosh.
So, thank you again so very much, and thank you to all of our viewers for being here. Just a quick reminder, we are here on Friday playing our Pathfinder 2nd Edition campaign of the Scions. We are going to have some special guests joining us as player characters over the next couple of weeks.
And I know who they are, but I don't know who they are, and it's infuriating because they won't tell me anything.
Which is good. But we are going to have, this week, it is...
Julian from the Everyday Superhero cast.
Yep, he's gonna be on this week, and then he's gonna be on for a couple of sessions, and then we're also gonna have next week we should have Abby from Tomes of the Chaos Bard also joining us as another player character as we continue to build up this story and find out what in the heck is going on with Incheliax, and why has this gnome Cuthwaldwin managed to completely take over the country
and steal everyone's souls, jerk face.
So
they don't need them.
No,
they don't need them. Also, Jerome dropped this in the chat earlier, but just as a reminder to anybody who hangs out over there as well at Lost Tribes Gaming, I am going to be playing VTM with them on Saturday at a time. That is a time. Jerome, are you still there? Please tell me you're still there. I don't remember when it was. 11 o'clock, I think, my time, Mountain Standard Time. But we're playing Vampire the Masquerade with my very fun little southern Texan girl named Trisha, who's very not a normal vampire, and she doesn't really do the whole blood thing. So it's gonna be fun.
Yep.
Oh, 11. Yes, 11 Pacific. So noon, 1 and 2.
Yes, there we go. All right, so we are going to go ahead and we're going to raid a new friend of the channel who we met at FanX. Quincy is streaming.
Oh, yay!
Tavern, Quincy, Tavern.
We met him in Critical Dice. They were at the FanX.
Lovely people. We absolutely loved Quincy. He was such a sweetheart.
So we're hoping to actually have him on the show sometime in the near future.
Hey, he offered. So cool. I am holding him to that fire.
Yep, he offered.
Love it.
So we are going to go ahead and raid. So everyone kind of join us as we go ahead to raid Quincy's Tavern. We'll see. I think he's playing some game right now. He's relaxing a little bit after the convention.
Oh my gosh. He's doing it. It's today Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. He was doing a 12-hour stream today.
So let us go and raid him. Good night, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Oh, and wait, was that us raiding or somebody? Oh, Doom subscribed. Aw.